How's everybody doing? My name is Amari Kendall. I am a junior economics major, marketing minor from Chicago, Illinois, the South Side to be exact. And I have the esteemed pleasure of working with Miss Sierra. You go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hey everybody, I'm Sierra Curran, a sophomore sociology major from Douglasville, Georgia. I attend Spelman College, but this semester I've had the cool experience to be a part of the MCEE team, serving as the ambassador as well as the digital marketing coordinator. This week I've had the opportunity to host our Innovate Week, a part of the Morehouse Center for Excellence in Education's 5 Elite Pathways: Explore, Lead, Innovate, Teach, and Engage. And just a little about the Innovate Pathway Week. It's a week that's meant to spotlight different careers that expand on designing innovative solutions to shift education. And today we have with us Mr. Blackwell, a graduate of Morehouse College, class of 2009. He earned a Bachelor of Science within mathematics and then went on to become a modeling analyst for GE Energy. He had the unique jump in a career path, moving on to work as a music director for Elizabeth Dr. Church in 2012, and is now sitting with us today as the CEO of his own company, Make Music Count, an interactive application that combines music and math in piano class. Thank you so much for being with us today, Mr. Blackwell.
No, thank you for having me. I'm excited to talk with you guys today.
Okay, cool. You want to tell us a little bit about yourself and your own bio?
You did a perfect job. No, I'm playing. No, so like you said, I'm Marcus Blackwell. I'm the CEO of Make Music Count, and we're a math curriculum and math learning how to play the piano. I'm originally from Windsor, Connecticut, small town right next to Hartford, Connecticut. And my background is all in playing the piano. That's where everything starts for me. It's my passion. It's my upbringing. My father was a church musician and choir director. So at a young age, I was sitting next to him on the organ. Connecticut is known for some amazing gospel musicians like Kurt Carr and Youthful Praise. So that's my upbringing. And now live here in Atlanta. I went to Morehouse, and Atlanta kind of captured me. And this is where I got my first job, first corporate job, working at GE, as you mentioned. And Atlanta's been good to me. And I found my wife here. My wife is a Spelman alum, class of
Okay.
2010, and I have a beautiful daughter named Victoria. And no, that's my bio.
Okay, great. So we're just gonna jump right into the questions. That's really cool to hear.
Let's do it.
You got a little spell house family going on. That's really cool and
Mhm.
fun. Okay, so I read that during high school, going into your background, I read that during high school you struggled with math. So going into Morehouse College, what eventually helped you like choose your major? Like, why did you choose mathematics? What made you do that?
So I actually did not choose math first. When I first went to Morehouse, I was a business major. I didn't know what I wanted to do. My dad is a Morehouse man as well. He's class of '86, and he did well in business. So I said, well, I guess business is isn't hard, you know, to be able to follow his footsteps. But Morehouse is a really great place that challenges you in all different areas. And when you first come in as a freshman, you're told that you can do anything, and we're given all this great confidence, and it's fantastic. And I was just sitting there like, well, there's one thing I haven't been too good at, and that's math. But one of the beautiful things about Morehouse is the environment, right? The push to not only expect excellence, but to go further, right? And so my transition to becoming a math major was really trying to figure out how to get over my math phobia anyway, right? And so it was at Morehouse where I finally realized that playing the piano is understanding math. And it essentially became okay, I've got this great idea, but if anyone's going to believe me, I have the background in music. I was, a music director and choir director since 16, playing professionally. I knew I had to get the math background. So I went, I actually did a couple of things before I switched. I took a career placement test, and, lady came back and she said, have you thought about being a math major? And I was just like, I cannot escape this math thing. And I wasn't convinced. So I went to the math department and I said, hey, I'm really interested in becoming a math major, but I'll do it if you'll support, my curiosity and how music kind of comes together. So I'm pretty positive they just said yes because they needed math majors, but I held them accountable and I did my senior thesis on how math and music kind of came together. But yeah, that was really my journey. I went from business to math. Usually it's the other way around, but I went from business major to switching my second semester of my sophomore year.
Wow, that's really interesting.
Yeah, it's crazy because I find myself trouble with math sometimes, and I'm an econ non-math major, kind of weird, but it's
No,
kind
with math and economics, yeah, yeah, you need one to do the other.
I
That's
originally I was math, but then I had calc, and then I'm econometrics, so I just said, you know what, I'm gonna dial it down, go non-math, save myself.
Come on, man, get back in there.
I don't know. I'm trying, but I also noticed that you did mention some of the different things you're part of, like the church and G Energy. So it's kind of interesting that some of those career paths are kind of different than being the educator you are now. So can you tell us like your experience that led to this innovation of Make Music Count?
Yeah, so while you're at Morehouse, you're taught to go and find internships, and my first corporate internship was at GE, and it was a fantastic time. I think I interned there 2 summers. So when it came time for finding a job, it was just an automatic. It just made sense. Got a little glare here. Let me move over. Yeah. It just kind of made sense to go to GE because it was pretty much family already. So it was just a smooth transition there. But again, I had this idea that I came up with at Morehouse about how math and music kind of connected. And when I was at GE, it didn't go away. And one of the other great things about Morehouse is that you learn about the importance of community service. So when I first came up with the idea, I said, okay, I wonder if this could help some other students. And so I just went and asked this program it's an after school program called Raising Expectations. Would this be helpful? And so once a week, I would leave GE to go to the school. It was based out of Kennedy Middle School at the time. And, what was interesting is that even though my music background is gospel and I wasn't really allowed to teach or listen to rap music at home, I knew that if I was going to have a chance teaching middle school, Atlanta public school students anything about math, I was going to have to make it relevant to them. So my very first lesson was teaching them how to play Two Chains I'm Different on a piano by applying fractions. And so it was an absolute hit. All the kids loved being able to play the song on the piano. And all of a sudden, math was no longer a problem. So I was like, okay, that's pretty interesting, right? So I would go back week after week, and I did this for free for 6 months, just going and, you know, doing this thing. I didn't know what it was. And at the end of 6 months, another school called me and said, hey, we heard about your program you're doing. Would you be interested in doing it with us for our summer program? It was June coming up. And they said, we have a summer program that meets Monday through Thursday from 9 to 12. Would you be interested? And my first answer was absolutely not. I'm gonna get fired from GE if I leave 4 days out of the week for half the day. And because I assumed they meant community service. And so that's when I learned about the importance of, being a vendor for a school district, not just a school. So we worked it out. I will share this. At the end of 6 months, I had created this workbook. This workbook has nothing but lessons from all the songs that I did within those 6 months. And so what happened is the school bought workbooks for the students. We agreed to an hourly rate to come and have me teach the class from 9 to 12. And they gave me 10th, 11th, and 12th graders who not only needed enrichment, but had to improve in their math performance. They didn't do well during the school year. So we did a pre and post test, a math quiz. We did my workshop, my session for 5 weeks, and the students loved it, and we saw their scores increase. So that is how Make Music Count started. And the other thing you mentioned about my bio about playing at church, I actually was playing at a mega church while I was also at GE. And that's important because oftentimes when it's time to take a leap of faith, it's hard, right? Going from a corporate gig that was paying me probably $60,000, leaving that is hard. So playing at a mega church where I was making about 30,000, it served as a bridge and a buffer for me to easily say, you know what, I can make a sacrifice and start doing Make Music Count. So that's what it was. I was at GE first, then I was also playing at a mega church, and then transitioned over to Make Music Count.
Okay, that's very interesting. And yeah, like you said, that's an interesting bridge. And sometimes we just need to take that lead, just do both things that we love to do at the same time.
But you know what?
So
That's
I
what
know you
God
said
does. That's what God does.
yes.
He
That's
will
what it does.
catch you, and He'll care. Oh, come on, somebody! No, he's not. No, but literally, that's how it was. It was a leap of faith, and God really comes in and helps you make the transition. So it's just, God's humor that it was an actual church job.
That was good. Did you have a feeling of like, this is what I'm supposed to be doing? Like, this
Yes,
is this is
yes.
it right here.
I knew it from the moment that the idea came to me that this is what I was supposed to be doing because, just kind of giving a little more insight. I've played music my entire life, and all my friends were becoming, music producers and on tour. And I'm like, man, I've been playing music with them just as good. Why is it that I'm not moving in this direction? So I've always had this almost insecurity about, playing at church was fine, but I felt like I should be doing more. And, it turns out that I was learning all of that piano so that I could teach it through this math method.
That's so beautiful. That's a good story right there. So you talked about the summer program and you were working with the kids. So how did you go from there to actually creating an app? Like, what was the thought process of like, oh, I need an app. I want to create an app. And how did you end up?
Yeah. So, to kind of put in perspective, that first school that I had that was actually paying me to come in, they extended, my program to the school year. And within that first year, we went from one school to 10. And so I needed help. So first, I went back to the AUC and hired Morehouse, Spelman, and Clark students to be my teachers for my after school programs. So that was our model, an after school enrichment program. And we quickly just kept growing and growing till we did that for about 6 years. And we had gotten up to about 60 schools in 8 different states. So the idea for the app came, I literally had a group me filled with college students, checking in, making sure they were at their schools on time. It was too much to manage. And so I was like, there's got to be an easier way to be able to, have more impact. Because that was the thing. We were seeing tremendous success, improvement in test scores, confidence going up, students loving the piano, but it was limited, right? When you're in the after school space, every student doesn't go to after school. And then in my class, I couldn't have more than 20, 25 kids just for classroom management. So the app idea came. I actually had a dream about it, but the app idea came and it was the solution I needed. Now with an app, we're able to be used during the school day in math class and music class, still after school, and now at home. So that was a transition. So, I'm not a coder, so I did not know how to build an app at all. So I actually um, took a coding class at General Assembly. It was a 12-week intensive course to learn how to code. And so I said, you know what, let me just see if I can do this. And I cannot do it. I could not. 12 weeks, I was like, yeah, this is not it. This is not for me. But my teacher became my first coder. He loved what I was doing and he offered to help and I, paid him to do it. That's how I got my first step towards an app. And so here's the other thing: apps are not cheap at all. So we have had a lot of help a lot along the way. Well, first, my old business was making pretty good money, so I was using that money to get started. But we had help, and the first amount of funding that I was awarded that I applied for and won was through New Schools Venture Fund. They're based out of San Francisco, and they were investing into science and math innovative ideas. And so after a couple of interviews with them, I was awarded $50,000 from them that came with, cash, but also year-long training on how to build your idea. So it's not all happy, right? Part of building an app is sometimes your money gets stolen. And the first time I hired somebody, they did not build what I needed, and it was a waste of $30,000. So I was like, okay, well, what are we going to do? Like, and I actually applied for another pitch competition. This is different. An interview is different than a pitch competition. So I did a pitch competition through WeWork, which was called the Creator Awards. And from the pitch competition, I was able to win $72,000 from that. And that is what I used to build my first official version of my app. I found a new team. My developers are now based in India, and they're excellent, excellent. So that is who I still use to this day. Done a phenomenal job. So you just got to find any way to get it done. It was an idea that was too good and too impactful to just die. So yeah, that's how we transitioned to an app.
That's kind of interesting to hear the process of how, how things can go wrong, how things wouldn't might go as you expect, and like just different challenges that comes with creating such an innovative idea, such an app. Because I thought it was kind of crazy to me to even hear, but I'm like, an app? I don't like math, like I said in the beginning. I don't like math.
We're
But then
gonna fix that in a minute. Just
that's
so
what
you know.
I went through the app. And I looked. I'm like, okay, I can play around with it a little bit. I could get a little something, but I mean, it's just still crazy because like after developing such a trailblazing idea, like so how some students are currently wearing a pandemic, as we know, and like some students might want to go have those ideas to want to flourish and go to the next step. Like, what was some advice, or what was some development points you would give to a student who wants to go towards a project like this?
You got to do it. You got to do it. No one gets an idea for no reason. If you have an idea that comes to you, it is your job to do it. But it's then on you if you write it down, take actions, because ideas will go to someone else if you don't move on it. I'll be honest, the pandemic has probably been one of the best things to ever happen to my business, not just from a demand point of view, but for building and expanding my vision for my company, right? Like, we've been sitting at home, put that time to use, think through some ideas, write them down. And, I even rebuilt my app during the quarantine to better serve parents and teachers during the pandemic. Because when I first built my app, it was for schools only. We weren't looking at, a B2C route through the App Store. But being in a pandemic, it let me know, hello, there's an opportunity for revenue over here that you're not even thinking about. And so my advice would be, when you get an idea, write it down first. That's what you have to do, or else you'll forget it. When I first got the idea for Make Music Count, I literally opened up my laptop and just started typing. And that I guess just kind of pushing out all that information became my first book, called The Musical Number Line, which was essentially my understanding of how to teach music through a math method. So no, in this time, this is the time to take those risks. My wife actually took a risk during this time, and left her job and landed a new one that paid her almost triple her salary. So you have to be bold in times when it's scary, because it usually always pays off. What's the worst that could happen? We're at home anyway, right?
Exactly. And speaking of being at home, when I heard, like when I was researching the app and I downloaded it, I was like, this is so perfect for students who are literally learning at home. All they have is their parents, or they might have like a babysitter or something, that are struggling with math and might have needed that extra help. This app is like literally so cool, and kids love music, and I can definitely see how that would work. So if you don't mind, would you mind showing the people on how the
Oh,
application works? We've been talking about it.
sure, sure, sure. Absolutely. Let me share my screen here and we'll do an example. So the great thing about Make Music Count is that you do not need to have a musical background to understand this. The math application will teach you how to become a pianist. So we start at the very beginning with our tutorial, and it's essentially just getting comfortable with the piano keys, right? So um, on the piano, you have white keys and black keys. The white keys are named as they're labeled. The black keys are called sharps and flats. A sharp is that symbol with the little hashtag next to the letter, and a flat is the lowercase b. All that means is a sharp is a black key up and to the right of a white key, and a flat is a black key up and to the left. That's why it has two names, okay? So this section is just getting comfortable with the piano, right? And now here's where the math comes in. So what I essentially did was I took everything that had a musical definition and I gave it a math definition. So in music, when you move from one key to another, for example, C to C sharp, it's called a half step. What I did was I rewrote that expression as a math equation that you see on the bottom. So it says C, which is your starting point, plus half represents moving a half step, and where you end up is your answer, and that answer would be C sharp. All right? So what we're doing is we're looking at the piano as if it were a number line. On a number line, when you add, you count moving to the right. When you subtract, you count moving to the left. So for your question, F minus a half, your answer would be E, the very next key. So all we're doing is we're counting in half intervals, half, 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 just like that. So for this one, C sharp plus half would be D, all right? Now you guys are probably gonna end up being guinea pigs in a minute. So I'm gonna ask you a question. Not yet, but just get ready, get your mind ready. All right, so those are half steps. So next are whole steps. So just like there are two halves in a whole, there are two half steps in one whole step. So for the question C plus 1, your answer would be D, because C to C sharp is a half and C sharp to D is another half, okay? So your answer would be D. So for this one, F minus 1, F to E is a half, and E to D sharp is another half. So the answer would be D sharp. You guys get it so far?
Mhm.
Yes.
Wonderful, wonderful. Okay, now here's how it works. You're gonna select the subject that you would like to learn. So we'll do fractions for now.
Oh Lord.
You'll be fine. And then you select the song that you would like to play. So let's do you want to do some Migos, Walk It, Talk It?
It don't matter.
All right, let's do that. I got some more recent songs I'll show you as well. But all right, so the way this works, the answers to the questions are the notes to play the song on the piano. So what is C plus 1?
D.
All right, good. What is D plus 4?
Is that G?
Nope. Nope. Try again. Now remember, don't go 1, 2, 3, 4. You got to count in halves. So it's 8 halves.
I want to say G.
Well, I got this. D plus 4, D, 1/2, 1.
Come on, college students.
Well, hold on.
College has
Hold
been-
on, hold on.
Woo. All right, here, I'll walk you through this one. D plus 4. D to D sharp is half. D sharp to E is 1. E to F is 1.5. F to F sharp is 2. F sharp to G is 2.5. G to G sharp is 3. G sharp to A is 3.5. A to A sharp is 4. D plus 4 is A sharp or B flat.
I knew that.
Uh-huh. Okay, tell me this one. What about B flat minus a half? This one's easier.
A.
A.
There you go. There you go. Okay, good. So we'll go through this one. What happens is when you finish your answers, you hear some applause, but then the song will play and the answers to the questions are going to light up for you to play along with it.
Talk it, walk it, walk it, talk it, walk it like I talk it, you walk it like I talk it, walk it, walk it like I talk it, walk it like I talk it, hey, walk it like I talk it, walk it like I talk it, walk it like I.
All right, you see that? So what you've seen is direct application of math leads to your ability to play the piano. So we finish our lesson with a math quiz at the end with no music, right? Because again, we're looking to make sure that you're understanding the math. And this is the way that we tie it all together. So that is how a lesson works. I want to show you another one because we do other areas of math that are higher level. So everything from fractions, decimals, times tables, division, algebra, pre-calc, and calculus. So what we'll do, let's do times tables. Do you have a particular times table in mind you'd like to do?
6.
All right, let's see what's 6 times tables. Got some Lady Gaga, got some Walk 'em Down. Do
Oh
Walk
yeah,
'em.
let's do walk them down.
All right.
That's a good one.
All right. So now, not only does every question focus on 6 times tables, it also takes into account order of operations. So just remember to solve what's in the parentheses first. Okay. Now this is important because it's just like you would do in a math class. Order of operations is something that you would do, right? So we wanted to make sure that everything you did here felt the same way that it does in math class. So that's why you see a timer counting down, right? And then these. So, all right, let's do this first one. A plus 6 times 0 equals.
A.
There you go. All right, next one. Order of operations. It's all right.
What's that? G.
G, yes.
Oh, we did that quick.
Yeah, I had
See?
to.
See? You did it. All right, what about this one?
Can't see.
Plus 2.
Is that? I think E. I don't want to say E.
F.
F is correct. Good.
Yes.
All right. So for those that are watching this, of course, you would solve 6 times 5 first, which is 30, minus 27, which would give you 3. And then you would do A sharp minus 3 on the piano. That's what we're thinking. That's the thought process here. So A sharp minus 3 is E. And then this last one is D. So again, you have solved for the notes to play Walk 'em Down. Cool. Got it?
That is cool.
Yes,
I can't.
it's
I
so
can't do it.
cool.
So, and so the thought process is think of it as if you were a kid, right? You are learning how to play an instrument on the spot with, your favorite songs. And, the music is serving as an incentive for students to push through because I don't believe that there's any such thing as someone that cannot do math, right? So it's just confidence. And so all we need to do here is number one, show, how math connects to other areas. So that's the music piece. But the other piece that we're talking about here is cultural relevancy. The reason why you guys are getting excited about this is because you know this song, right? It's almost like having a word problem that talks about Whole Foods, but you ain't never been to a Whole Foods, so you're stuck on, right? So your lesson should reflect who you are and what you can relate to. And that's what we're really talking about here. That's the reason why it works so well. Yes, the music is great, but students can see themselves in this curriculum, which is why they then perform. And so in the app, after you solve the math, you've earned it. So we have a section that allows you to practice the songs that you have actually solved, right? Because that's part of piano playing too, is practice. So when you click on these, it'll go, right to the piano playing part. And that's how the app works. We also have every student, gets a profile, and we have a leaderboard for students to have some friendly competition amongst each other. But yeah, that's essentially how the app works. And like I said, from third grade all the way up through 12th, we've got your pre-calc and calculus in here as well. So that's one of the things that also separates us is that we've created enrichment for older kids, right? So when you're kindergarten, first, second, there's tons of apps for them to use. But what about older kids, right? What are they supposed to use? So that's how the app works.
That's really cool. And I was telling Omari the other day that I wish I would have had this
Me
in
too.
high
That's where
school
this
because I
came
was
from.
struggling, and I
These
was
schools
struggling
out
my
there
freshman year.
they
I
got it
took it
good.
back.
No, but that's the point. That's where this came from. That's what I said. I was like, man, I needed this when I was a kid growing up. Having teachers, tell me, why don't you just focus on something else? No, I'm a good student. I want to learn this. And that's part of my fuel. I really walk around with a chip on my shoulder because I remember being told, you know, that don't worry about this or focus on something else. Like you're the teacher, you're supposed to help me, right? That is your job. And so especially if I'm willing to learn it, I just need to think about it another way. And so what if a teacher would have told me a long time ago, did you know that all that piano that you play is actually math? Right? I would have been like, wow, for real? Like that means I've got to be good at math. That's what happened at Morehouse. It was literally like an aha moment where, I think I was showing one of my LBs like how to play something on the piano, but since he didn't know music theory, I used math terms. And he was like, that makes perfect sense. And I was like, man, I just talked in math confidently. And, I'm over here talking like I have an issue with math. No, I'm actually very good at math if I can play at this level of piano.
Wow, that's very true.
So interesting.
That's crazy too. Yeah, I guess we all wish we would have had it a couple years ago.
Well,
What you
hey,
had though, man, back
what's interesting? Even though I made this for like, children, adults use this too because it's a fast way to just learn how to play the piano, right? Like if you wanted to learn the piano, the traditional way is, sheet music, music theory. We're not trying to do that. I want to play now. This is a great way to just learn really, really fast. And, kind of touching on the other thing with the math issues, the problem with math is that it's taught in like a one size fits all. And that's not the case. Math is used in everything. And why is it not taught that way? It's also an issue with music too. But, this is what we're talking about here, the importance of integration of different subjects, right? So show me where the music is in math. Show me where's the history in science. Show me where's the language arts in art, right? Like, because if you think about a class, all those kids have different types of passions. It's your job as a teacher to be creative to reach them. That's what Make Music Count represents, being able to finally show what educational reform looks like.
That's so interesting, and interesting that you said that too, because I remember being like sitting in class being like, well, I'm gonna do this, so why do I need this? And people always said it's math and everything, it's math and everything, but they never actually like show you, or they never actually like explain it,
And
or
that's,
even like teach it in different ways when it's possible, just like as we've seen.
yeah,
So
and that's a problem.
as you know, we did our research. So over the summer, we realized or noticed that you collaborated with LeBron James School, our promise school.
Oh yeah.
And huh?
I said, yeah, I did.
Yeah, I just want to ask, like, how was that experience? Can you talk to us about how the opportunity like came to be?
Oh, so um, it was a long process. Whenever you um, want to start working with high profile um, artists, celebrities, or schools, it's a long process. So remember I said that I won that pitch competition from WeWork. So I won it for the Southeast region. So they were essentially using me to talk on panels um, about WeWork and the competition to try to get other people to apply. On that panel was a gentleman who was one of the executives over at Turner, and we were talking in the back, and he was like, "Man, I really love what you're doing." So he introduced me to his team via email, and she said, "I think this would be a really good fit for LeBron's school." So she sent an email connection to his foundation, and I talked with them on the phone, and then they connected me with the school. So after I don't know Man, it was a lot of networking time. So it probably took, might have been like from when I met him to where I went, it might have been about a year, honestly. And that's the thing. One of the reasons why I've been able to have success is because of my perseverance and being able to follow up with people. And because that's the thing, you can't forget what people tell you. In most cases, people will keep their word and make introductions for you, but it's up to you to follow up on them. So we finally found a date for me to fly out to Akron, and my brother's a big basketball player, so I brought him too. And you know, first of all, LeBron James's I Promise School is incredible. The reason why they're having so much success is because they cracked the code that the way that you get students to perform well is if you take care of the entire family. So it's not just an amazing school for kids, but they're offering interns for parents, opportunities to get your GED. They have a pantry with free food that you can get. All you have to do is just say that you need it. You can go get it, right? So they're taking care of the family as one unit so that the student's comfortable and happy and is able to come to school and then perform. And then, of course, he does other things like taking care of their college and stuff. But an absolute incredible, incredible school. And that's a method that should be duplicated. Absolutely. There needs to be an I Promise Atlanta, right? Like, for real. I really hope he does that because that school is incredible. So I went there and gave my workshop. I brought my iPads with me and they gave me third, fourth, and fifth graders. And those kids enjoyed the workshop so much they didn't want to go to recess afterwards. They wanted to stay with me, and it was just fantastic. It was just a fantastic experience. The teachers loved it, and yeah, it was just a tremendous opportunity. And to be honest, you take pictures there, and you can use that, and that's credibility for now. You've worked with some pretty incredible schools, and that led to one of the neighboring school districts actually buying Make Music Count because they found out that we were there and we were talking about it, and um, then their district purchased it.
Well, congratulations.
Thanks, man. That was not easy, but again, we had you got to believe in what you have, and I knew that we would need to have some high profile partnerships in order for us to get to where we want to get. And that was a fantastic experience. The kids there were wonderful. And yeah, it was just a tremendous opportunity.
Yeah, that does sound like crazy a process, but it came through and it sounds so fulfilling as well. Like just staying persevering and like what your goal is and what your mission is. And
Mhm.
also networking too is important. Like a lot of people
That's
kind
the
of
only way
disregard
this
that
works.
fact.
Yeah,
Networking,
that's the only way this works. You cannot do anything by yourself. And that's probably some more advice. When you have an idea, tell others so that they can help you. They may not be able to give you money or may not even be your customer, but they may know someone that might be a customer for you. And, you know, being personable and being a nice person that people want to talk to is the only way that this has worked. People have, because, people are taking a chance on you, right? And you have to be genuine with what you want to do. Like if I had been like, oh, I'm just trying to, meet famous people and, not care about kids, people can see through that. But our story is very genuine. And first of all, it's my story, which is why I care so much about it. But you got to be genuine. And when you're genuine, people will want to help you. That is literally how we've been able to get here is people taking a chance on us. And because again, like this math curriculum is from left field. It's very abstract. It's new. No one's seen it before. But I'm a black male, and someone talking about education. You need more black males teaching kids. They need to see that example. So that helped as well. And people were willing to take a chance on me. But when they do that, you have to be excellent, right? You have to, do your homework, be prepared, not be late, right? Like you gotta, you guys go to Morehouse and Spelman, so I'm gonna tell you that. You guys know that already. But that stuff means a lot, right? Because you'd be surprised how many people mess up opportunities for being late or not dressing appropriately or not being prepared. And we don't go to Morehouse and Spelman to not be excellent. That's not what we stand for at all. There's too many people that came before us. There's too many people looking at us that are behind, right? Like you're there for a reason. And so, you got to keep that high level of standard.
I definitely agree. And just talking about networking and then also like undergrad and AUC experience, I would like to know like how much of an influence has the AUC been, and not just Morehouse, but like literally like the AUC in general? How much has that been like in your journey and your path and your business? Like, what have you
Oh man, it's been tremendous. You know, I've got lots of friends at Clark Atlanta, Morehouse and Spelman. Our network is unmatched. You know, first of all, just speaking to that excellence, you know, everyone is being excellent in their careers, and you know, I've had people that have been able to walk me into doors that I wouldn't have been able to get into myself. You know, please take advantage of, you know, being social while you're at Morehouse and Spelman, and you know, befriending people and getting to know people and understanding what they like and what they want to do. Support them now, because if you try to play them now and then they blow up, then you may have a hard time reaching them. So, you know, so many good things happen when you're just a nice person. Honestly, like, just don't be a jerk, right? Like, you know, and I understand you're in college and you're finding yourself and all that, but it's man, I've had, especially, you know, thinking about it, a lot of my friends at Clark Atlanta or are teachers, you know, and they like reached out to, you know, bring me in to work with their kids. And you know, one of my Spelman sisters works at Spotify and reached out to me to, you know, do some collaborations there because they were looking for, you know, Black entrepreneurs, you know, during the pandemic. Like, all this stuff is connected. And, you know, I just, you know, got a chance to um, I'm going to be working with Quincy Jones's elementary school, and that came from one of my LBs that lives in LA, and made that, like, none of this happens without networking. You must be able to know, right? It doesn't matter what major you are. That's just personable skills, right? Like, just being able to, you know, be knowledgeable of what's going on, be able to talk to people, coming off as genuine again, because you know sometimes you can just tell when someone's not genuine, and it's just like, yeah, get away from me, right? Like, so you just want to be careful. And that just comes back to the importance of finding your passion, right? Like, when you find what you're supposed to be doing, there's no need to be shady. There's no need for, like, that God's favor is going to be on you. Like, all of that stuff comes together and will help you get to where you want to get to.
Oh, that's good. That was a good word. That was a good
Come on, somebody.
word. Come on. Look to your neighbor. Okay, I'm just playing. I'm just playing. That was good though.
I would love if you had econometrics on there. Or
We're just getting started. So, you know, part of the vision for Make Music Count is to expand to other areas of learning. I won't share that now, but yeah, we'll be doing some other things outside of just math. In fact, that's one of the things that the pandemic has been great for, is, like I was saying, expanding our vision. We are noticing that there's value that we can provide in other areas outside of education, like healthcare. So, for example, young children that go to the hospital and have extended stays, they have a curriculum they learn from. They can use Make Music Count. But also, older people that may have early symptoms of Alzheimer's or dementia can use our app as a way to stay sharp with the math, with using music that they remember from when they were younger. And the other way that will be helpful is with music streaming. So, as you guys saw in the app, after you play a song, after you saw the math, it plays a song. Well, that song play should count as a stream on, you know, Spotify, Apple Music, Pandora. So that's not innovative, but the way that we bring value is that none of those platforms have access to the school day. And then that becomes an opportunity for them to make more money for their artists, um, yeah, we just bring lots of value there. So, you know, lots of creative ways. And that's the thing you're going to need as an entrepreneur, is creativity and flexibility. You know, it's already a harder journey for you as a, you know, Black founder, but you got to get there any way you can, right? Like, again, you don't get ideas for no reason. So get creative and collaborate, and yeah, it'll work out.
That's good. Okay. You have another question, anybody?
no, I didn't have any more questions. I was really just interested with dialogue. to be
Yeah,
honest.
you can just chat too. It doesn't have to be a question you wrote down. Like, if there's anything I said that you want me to, share more on, or um, we've had some really amazing partnerships. Like LeBron School was great, but also we worked with Cartoon Network, and you got to be bold. I would say be bold, but also be a part of the community. So the community for startups is the gathering spot, a fantastic place where entrepreneurs, executives. I met one of the senior VPs of Cartoon Network at the gathering spot during new member orientation. And when he gave his intro, I was like, I gotta talk to him. So I walked up to him and I told him, I said, look, you guys make lots of content for kids, but you don't talk about education, and you should. And he was like, you're right. And I said, well, I can help you with that. And then I told him about my app. And, again, that was another long process. It took, I don't know if it took a whole year, but it was close to it, of just checking in. And he was like, Marcus, I love what you're doing. I will find an opportunity for you. Just trust me. So, again, don't harass, but, check in. And the opportunity came where they were releasing the new movie, Steven Universe, the movie. And turns out it was a musical. So what we did was we took the songs from the movie, and I made math lessons in my app from those songs. And they saw it as a new creative way to market their soundtrack from the movie. They posted it on their Instagram. They had like 2 million followers, right? So I'm just saying, like, you got to be creative and bold. And, my mindset is, what's the worst someone can say? It's no. And then, all right, I'll find another way. Or, you know, I rarely get no's, I'll be honest, but but and that's just because, again, I'm prepared. I have my pitch in my mind. I know what I'm going to say. I know the value we can bring, and when you put all those things together, you'll get a lot of yeses.
That's good. And that's really like, that's just the confidence behind it too. Like when you go in knowing your own value and knowing your own worth, and like knowing what you can bring to the table and being able to like present yourself and then your ideas
It's like
thoroughly.
being in a competitive sport, right? Like, you know, if you're, LeBron, he doesn't walk on a court timid, right? You got to walk into a room owning that thing. And, I walk into rooms feeling like I have the best educational platform out there. And I can speak to why. I've got, 8 years of experience doing it. And, we have secured some very awesome partnerships because of our creativity. So, it's just, you got to believe in what you're doing, but again, you got to back it up. Now, don't go, arrogantly. You're not ready. You gotta do your due diligence and be prepared for an opportunity. But when you're ready, shoot your shot. What are they gonna say?
Definitely agree with that.
That's cool. I can't wait to just feel that feeling like confidence. Because me personally, like in school, I've switched my majors a bunch of times,
It's
just trying to
okay.
like, just find my pathway. But I feel like that's normal too. And then like once you get to that point and you just know, you skyrocket from there.
And even if it's not normal, so what? That's your path, right? Like,
Yeah.
no one, like, listen, college is the last place you can take risks like that and it be okay, you know? And I didn't, I had 4.5 years, because I switched my major my second semester. Like, you're there to try and find yourself, or at least start moving in the right direction, you know? And that's what's so beautiful about Morehouse and Spelman, is that it's an environment that you can do that and it'd be okay, right? So, no, just, if some, like one of the classes that ironically made me realize business wasn't it was accounting. I just could not understand accounting. I was like, nah, I'm out of here. Like, and then ended up going to a math major. But no, it was just, read the signs. If it's not working, pivot.
Yeah, I definitely agree. That was me with economics. I was like, y'all got this. So I'm interested, like, what is the process like creating your team? Like, who is on your team initially? Like, how did you find those talents or find the people that you knew would benefit your company in a positive way? Like, give to your company in a positive way?
So my first team, again, were Morehouse, Spelman, and Clark Atlanta students. And, I knew that I could teach anyone the math and the music. So when I would interview people, I would say, look, do you like kids? Do you have energy in the classroom? If you have that, I can teach you the rest. I hired some people that had never played the piano before, but were amazing teachers and are now teachers now, and of course, there were a couple of bad apples here and there that happens, but the thing is, you fire people quick when they show you, here's the thing, you get one shot when you're a black owned business. So I didn't have time to be hoping that somebody would show up or you showing up late. If you don't see me late to anywhere, you better not be late anywhere. So, I gave people a chance and, of course I trained them properly, but after that it's just work ethic, and if you don't have that, I can't use you. So um so that was how I built my team for college students. And I know it was a lot to ask for college students, but you guys are awesome, man, and innovative, and it was a great way. It was a paid opportunity. Like, I was paying people $25 an hour, so it's like, you better not be late if I'm paying you
Yeah.
$25 an hour. But no, it was the AUC has been really good to me, and continues to produce amazing students and people. And I'll always go back there for help, honestly.
That's good. That's good. And definitely like I feel like when you're a good leader, you draw in good leaders. So having those people being diligent and being on time because they see you as an example, I definitely feel like that's a characteristic of good leadership as well. And what
Yeah,
you
I
said.
appreciate that, but again, it was how I treated my business. Like, I treated Make Music Count not as me, but like I was going to work. And again, man, the value that I got from working at GE, that corporate experience, that taught me the level of expertise you need, to work a full day. I mean, think about it. You in college, y'all be taking naps during the day, playing video games. Like, you don't do that in the real world. And like, I had to learn how to juggle many, many different things. And so that corporate experience really carried over to how I operated Make Music Count. And that's the reason why I work so well.
Are there any courses, programs, events that we could offer for students to help inspire innovative ideas or help students build their ideas, particularly the AUC?
Yeah, I think I literally had a phone call today with a teacher from South Atlanta High School who created a class where there was no curriculum and students had to think of a problem and then create a solution, a startup, and that involved them coding websites, social media. Like, it's the most amazing thing I've ever seen. That should happen in college too. I think that everyone should have a crack at what it takes to build a business. Um, you know, there's so many problems with the world, you know, being able to provide a platform where or a space where you can just think about problems and then solutions. You got all the resources, I think that should be something that should be more intentional, right? In this class, we're going to identify problems. You're going to use your passions to solve them, and then we're going to build them, and then we're going to put them out there. Look, I'm a Morehouse alum. If Morehouse had pitch competitions for students, I would give money for to help fund an idea. I really would. Like, there should be more of that. It should be in-house. Same thing that like Harvard does that. All those other Ivy League schools, they do that. They do in-house pitch competitions, for ideas, and the alumni pot funds these things. Like, it's really amazing. That should be done at Morehouse. There's no better time than college to start really just thinking about how you want to envision the world and how can you personally fix it. That's how I thought about Make Music Count. It was like, okay, I have a problem. The problem is I don't like math. What's the solution to that? Well, the way that I can help it, what am I good at? I'm good at playing the piano. How does playing the piano help with math? And then I just made the two, and that's how Make Music Count came. I really think it should be personal like that. You should see like what am I good at? What can I bring to the table? What don't I like, and how can I use my talents to fix them? So I think a course structured like that would really be amazing, and I think we would come up with some really amazing ideas too. That would be fundable, right? Like, because I mean, think about it. You're in business, in the business department, you're doing business plans, you're doing all that stuff. Put that stuff to use. Go out and, there's investors in Atlanta. Let's bring them in. Like, everyone's looking for new ideas. No one's going to say, I'm not going to come listen to new ideas from Morehouse or Spelman students. No one would say that. They all come here to recruit you. Like, they'll definitely come hear your ideas. So that's what I think would be a really valuable course.
I agree, definitely, 100%. This is about getting me interested about, like, it's more so like, do you care about what I care about? That necessarily. That's why I feel like some of these classes, because like we really just get here to get principles and different different ways of doing stuff. It's like, what is this really gonna help me in the future? Is this gonna help me get to the next platform in my life? So I kind of agree with you saying when you say how's it gonna help my passion and also help the problem.
Well, it's a mixture, right? Because you need those principles. You need these different classes to start introducing new perspectives, but it all should come together into making you this like amazing person that is going to get out there and, solve some problems and lead the next generation. That's why you went to Morehouse and Spelman.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And I feel like that would be so interesting to have a course like that, like just a freehand course of just ideas and then implementing those ideas or building those ideas up over time.
You
And then
guys have an
even,
entrepreneur center at Morehouse now, like, and they're doing good stuff with, I've seen some good emails from that, but I just think just defining a space where we can come in and identify, it can be the class wants to fix, one problem a semester, but then the whole class brings together the resources to build something, you know? I think that'd
yeah,
be
I definitely agree. And then also like just knowing like all the people that I know, just in my class alone, there's a lot of people that have a lot of ideas. And it's a lot of people my age right now, like coming up with different ideas or business ideas right now. So even something like you said, like a pitch event, an event, like just a big event, AUC event, everybody come out and we have some people
Yeah, do
present
it
their
during
ideas.
homecoming. You do that during homecoming, watch that thing blow up.
Yeah,
I
it
promise.
really would. I can see it. I can literally
Oh my
see it.
gosh. What? You do that junk on like that Thursday or something of homecoming week? Tell me that's not gonna blow up.
like a not a Shark Tank, but like a Shark Tank. Like they come and do their pitch, and
Yeah,
just everybody come fill the gym up, and everybody's watching. We have a lot
yeah.
of people with different ideas. I think that'd definitely be cool for real.
Look at you. Future's not looking
I'll
prom.
be in it.
We're gonna hope that we receive a homecoming in the near future, as we may be online next semester. But
We'll have homecoming next year. I believe things will be better by then.
amen.
It was rough. It was rough not having homecoming this year. I'll admit.
It was hard. It was
I
sad.
didn't appreciate it, and I'm kind of upset.
I appreciated it because it was safe,
What
but
were they supposed to do? There's nothing they could do.
I understand I'm removed, so you guys being in school, I understand, but trust me, homecoming isn't going anywhere. It's going to be even more amazing after you graduate, and so you'll be fine. You'll be fine.
That about wraps it up. Thank you so much for coming to speak with us today. It was a good conversation, honestly, like it really was.
No, I appreciate it. Look, I love Morehouse and I love Spelman and I love Clark Atlanta, and it has been it changed my life. Go to Morehouse is one of the best ideas, best decisions I ever made, and whatever I can do to help and inspire and connect the dots for others who are like you're in such a special place right now, and I just want to push you guys to really like we expect great things from you. You really do, and you have it in you. It's why you're there, and you just got to go after it. You got to have just the courage to try it out. You know. So
I definitely
Definitely
agree.
appreciate it. I definitely appreciate it.
Yes, thank you for dropping some seeds tonight.
no
Thank you
problem.
so much.